The Hall of Fame at Spring Arbor University is intended to recognize exceptional ability and skill, as well as extraordinary achievement and/or success in athletics. It is an honor that reflects the accomplishments of a career, and in some cases, a lifetime. It is the highest athletic honor bestowed on an individual at SAU. Tonight, we celebrate 3 special individuals. Tonight is your night. At this time, I'd like to ask Bill Pippas to come as he will introduce Kelly Ludwig. Bill?
What a night. All right, I look out there and I see all these wonderful faces that just bring back memories. I agree with Coach Cunningham that it is, in some ways, what we classify as a family reunion. Some of these athletes I haven't seen for years. Some of these coaches I haven't seen for years. So just be able to be here tonight, a blessing, and I am honored to talk to you about Kelly DeCamp Ludwig. I'm going to take you down an amazing journey. I'm going to be honest with you about 2 simple facts. Fact number 1, I teach middle school, so I'm going to get a little crazy. It's the only way to keep them interested, I'll be honest with you. Fact number 2, I was blessed by my father with the ability to cry. All right? I guarantee those 2 things are going to happen tonight. So if I don't look this way, it's because she said, I don't want to cry. So if I don't make eye contact throughout the course tonight, it's just because otherwise the tears will flow. My speech, when I worked with my wife on this the other night, we were at 4 hours. We're going to narrow it down to about 5 minutes. So give me a chance. Oftentimes it is said, I'm loud anyways. Oftentimes it is said, hold on, this happened 2 years ago. There we go. I was on the wrong speech completely, sorry. A whole different thing. Oftentimes it is said that one individual can change the direction of an entire program. That one individual can be the catalyst for moving an entire program towards greatness. But as I stand before you tonight, honestly, how many of us have seen that happen? We say it, but how many people have seen it happen? Well, tonight, I tell you that Kelly DeCamp Ludwig, for our women's cross-country and track program, was that person. From the moment she arrived on campus, she became the driving force that catapulted the women's distance running program into predominance. She provided 3 cornerstone components that shaped and developed the entire program from 1995 until I retired in 2014. So what she brought to the table lasted my whole career. Praise God that she was sent here. We celebrated at the basketball game earlier today, and we were talking about stories. As I tell you this story, Kelly's story reverberates through the entire program. There are 3 components that I'm going to talk about tonight. Number 1, be a true leader. Be a true leader. So what are the characteristics of a true leader? Someone who is honest, has integrity, selflessness, courage, the ability to inspire. One who is able to help a team believe that together they can accomplish anything. Yes, Kelly embodied all those traits. And through her leadership, the ladies cross-country program was able to accomplish great things. A few of those things included, she took our program to 3 NAI national team appearances. In her senior year, she led us to a 10th place finish. She led our program to 4 NCCA national team appearances. We placed in the top 4 all 4 years. She became the first distance runner in Spring Arbor University history to earn 4 NCCA All-American awards for cross country. She led our program to 2 conference team titles, earning conference MVP one of those years. Be a true team leader. Kelly, you are a true team leader. Number 2, be committed to giving your best every day. No excuses. Run for your teammates. Kelly taught our women's team not to worry about what other teams were doing, what they were capable of doing, but to focus on being the best that God made our team to be. So at every practice and at every race, Kelly always gave her best. No matter the weather, which, by the way, we call cougar weather. We had a lot of cougar weather in Michigan. No matter the competition, no matter how she felt, she always gave her best for the team. Because of this, I believe God honored Kelly. I believe that He blessed her and gave her some statistical things that are amazing, because she was committed to helping her team. She became a two-time NAI All-American in the 3,000 meters. She was a multiple-time NCC All-American on the track, a conference champion in the 3,000 meters. She set 2 school records in the 3,000 meters, 1 indoors, 1 outdoors. They still stand today. She has currently run the 11th fastest cross-country time in school history with an 18:27. Be committed to giving your best every day. No excuses. Run for your team. Yes, Kelly was committed to giving her best every day. But probably the most important thing, the third and final concept, was the daily pursuit of honoring God. Kelly's a person who realized early in her life that living for Christ was a contact sport. She realized that every person she would come into contact with needed to see God's love in her life. Yes, Kelly was committed to honoring God. I have hundreds of stories. We sat today on the old track. It used to be blue. Used to be able to wear spikes. It was fun stuff back then. And we just sat and reminisced. And I was, Kelly, tell me a story. Tell me a story that you remember. We kind of looked at each other. And the simple reality was, Kelly became the story for the program. She opened the door for what lied ahead. She was that leader. She was committed to giving her best every day. She honored God. It is my privilege and honor to say to you, Kelly DeCamp Ludwig is our 2018 new inductee to the Hall of Fame. Proud of you, kiddo. I love you.
That's hard. It's hard to come right there. Thank you, Coach, for the kind words. I appreciate it more than you know. This is cool. This is super cool to be able to be here tonight. I want to thank the Hall of Fame committee for this great honor tonight. I want to congratulate Paul and Coach Bippus as well. You know, Coach Bippus had a vision to make a name for the Spring Arbor track and cross country teams, and that name would grow to become respected among our competition. And it's an honor to stand up here with him tonight. So, Coach Bippus. There's a few others I'd like to thank as well, and first and foremost, God, for just giving me the perseverance and the strength and the lifelong gift of running. Without him, none of this would be possible. I'd like to thank my high school coaches, and one in particular pulled me aside as an 8th grader and said, you know, you have no chance at making the 9th grade basketball team, none at all. I mean, I was all like, it was terrible. And he said, you have no chance. And as much as I hated that conversation, I was glad I took his advice, and I reluctantly that fall joined the cross-country team, the high school cross-country. I was, in fact, I joined it a week late, but there was Coach Whitehead, who was here tonight. He greeted me with a smile, just happy as happy I was there. And he said, okay, you know, for our first race, you'll be running JV. And so we did our first race, and he warmed up, you know, we warmed up the course together, and he's just talking the whole time. And he's saying things like, you know, you have potential, you can run in college someday, and keep the hard work up, and he's just saying all these things, I'm thinking, is this guy nuts? Because I don't even know if I want to be here today, let alone run the next 8 years of my life. But the faith that he had in me would show up for the next 4 years at every practice and at every meet, and I appreciate that in him for doing that. I'd like to thank my coaches here at Spring Arbor, Coach Bippus for seeing the potential in me, for pushing me above and beyond. Just when you think mal-repeats couldn't get much worse, we'd show up at the field house and we'd say, in the van, we're going to Victory Park in Albion. And I know that some people out here know what Victory Park is. And if you're not familiar with it, it has this hill. It feels to be about 1/4 mile straight up. And like the workout says, repeats, you're going to do a mile as hard as you can. And then coach is going to count the rest time down. He's going to make 30, 29, 28. And you're like, wait. Then you face about that hill again, another repeat, and another. Each time, coach is counting down that rest time. And the thing is, coach would either have this grin on his face. And he'd have this grin. And these guys know it. People are laughing because they know the grin. But it was this excitement, this contagious excitement and energy that he would bring with him every day, every practice, to show up. And those people who have coached before, just showing up and bringing that. There's days none of us want to be there. And you couldn't help but the word you get fired up. And that was something that, even when you didn't even want to be there, you know, the rain's coming down sideways, it's 40 degrees, I don't want to do 10 miles. He just would have this smile, and you're like, okay, I want to go run 10 miles now. So anyways, coach, that was awesome. I love you for that. And I try to do that. I coach, and I try to do that with my team. And I don't have these little guys who are just happy that I coach with little ones, but they seem to happy to run no matter what, which is funny. But anyways, I want to also thank Coach Carpenter. And the balance he brought to our team. You know, he had his gentle smile and his tender words seemed to be there right when you needed it most. And I know he's probably unaware of any times, but I remember specific times when that gentle smile and those kind words were there when I needed it most. So thank you, Coach, for that. To all these coaches that I've mentioned, I had nothing but the utmost respect for all of them. And I think to myself, I would have gladly thrown up a lung at a practice or a meet versus versus failing at any of the disappointing them. So that was something. So thank you to all my coaches who are here and the ones who just impacted my life. I'd like to thank my family, my parents, for the love, support, and encouragement they've given me over the years. I teach, and a lot of you are teachers out there, and we can say that we have parents who support us, and you don't realize that there's children that I teach and there's not support in their life. They don't have that love, and sometimes we think, oh, we got there on our own. I'm the one who put the hard practice, and I'm the one who, and it's like, no. I had parents there that were making sure, I was, at practice, picking up from practice, getting me places, being there. So thank you for the countless races where you guys stood in less than desirable weather to cheer me on. My dad, thank you for all of the pre-race pep talks. Sometimes I get so mad at that, but he knows. But he would just tell me, just the importance of having a positive mindset, and that still sticks with me to this day. So thank you to my parents. I want to say thank you to 2 people who are no longer with us anymore, but they were probably my 2 biggest fans. And that was my grandma and grandpa, who the team knew as Dee Dee and Baba. And I know without a doubt that they are probably beaming down with the proudest of proud smiles on me tonight. So I wanted to give them a shout out. Thank you to my husband, Derek, for he just helped me find the joy and love and fun in running again, because there was a time when I threw all of my watches away and I said, I'm going to run for me, not for anyone else again. When I graduated, I said, I just want to be able to have fun and enjoy it. And he's like, why are you so nervous? Just come on, let's do it back in, just have fun with it. So I appreciate him for showing that. And he's my high school sweetheart. These coaches know this time my coach would be driving home from a meeting. I'm like, I want to get home at least by 9. I got to see Derek. I got to. I know I drove him nuts with that, but Derek's been with me every step of the way through this whole thing, so thanks. I want to thank my twins, Parker and Peyton, probably the two best kids that I know. And they, you know, as little first graders, we signed them up. I guess I did. I signed them up for their school's running club, as little first graders. And they're 6th grade now, and they continue to run, never missing a year in between. And just the hard work that they put into their schoolwork and into their running inspires me, and I couldn't be more proud of you two. Love you guys. Good job. Now people will ask, they'll say, how did you get started in running? And because then they follow it and they say, because you know that's a part of our sport and our practice, and we hate it. So this is crazy that you chose a sport, that's all you do. So I follow that and say, well, it's kind of a funny story. As a young kid, 2nd, 3rd grade, I was real hyper, lots of energy, and I used that energy to just tease and bug my sisters relentlessly. So my parents just have enough, and they say, Kelly, just go outside and run laps around the house, around the yard, until you say, come inside. And I think the peace and quiet was too nice. They used to enjoy the peace and quiet inside, so they forget about me. And oh, Kelly's still running out there. Did you rush her? Did you put her? Why is she not inside? And I just be running out there. So we like to laugh and say the running stuck. But I'm glad that it did, because running is a unique sport. You know, we talk about being a team sport and a team, but it's unique because it's individual. And Coach Bippa said something to our team that I'll never forget, and I tell my team this now because it's something that's like, yeah, it's so true. He says, you know, in running, I can't have a ref blow a whistle and have a sub come in for you when you're hurting or struggling out there in the middle of a race. You just have to push through whatever it is you're going through to the finish. And I just think that's something I just share with my team now. They look at you like, oh, so true. Like, you know, kind of a bummer that you can't have a sub come in. But it feels like I've stepped my foot to that starting line at least 1,000 times. And it's funny, the races that I remember the most aren't the ones that ended in an awesome victory, but the ones that I struggled in. And I think those are the ones that I learned the most from. It was experiencing defeat that made me learn to never take a race for granted and to trust God. So God has shown himself to me through my running, whether it's out on a fall run, through like the beauty of the changing trees, the smell of a track in springtime that will instantly bring back like all these fond memories, or it's just him whispering in my ear, do you trust me, when like I feel weak and unable to finish. The things that I've learned through running, competing, and being part of the team have formed who I am today. The determination, the hard work ethic, the perseverance, never giving up, these are things that continue to be practiced lifelong. And I'm so grateful for the opportunities and the experiences, the running experiences that I had here at Spring Arbor. So thank you.
On behalf of Spring Arbor University and the Board of Trustees, I'm pleased to induct Kelly Ludwig into the Spring Arbor University Athletic Hall of Fame. Darlene, would you please come up and introduce Paul?
No, I was not Paul's soccer coach. That's clear. But I'd say in fall of '79, I was teaching here at Spring Arbor. I had a class of 12 to 15 students, and out of that small class, French students, I had 4 members of the men's soccer team. One of those students was John Canto, who talked about his brother Paul, who I found out was also a student at Spring Arbor and also a member of the soccer team. So having 4 soccer players in my small class, obviously I needed to go to soccer games and support them. So it was really through John that I met Paul and became a fan of soccer, of Spring Arbor soccer. So that started in '79 for you soccer players. Through those 4 years of watching Paul play and his team and seeing the standout player that he was, I was amazed at the team unity also that was there at that time. And Blake can attest to that. Blake Glass was the coach. But Paul would be the first one to tell you that there are other team members who deserve the credit rather than him. But tonight we're here to honor Paul and his successes. I just want to mention 3 areas of his commitment in life. One, obviously, soccer. Another, family. And another, his dream. Paul's soccer accomplishments are many. Some of his stats and honors at Spring Arbor are, he had 41 goals and 32 assists during his career. His freshman year, he was named Outstanding Forward by the NAIA Area 4. His sophomore year, he was named Team MVP. His junior year, he was named to the All-Michigan First Team, and that's All-Michigan. That's NCAA Division I, II, III teams, NAIA, All of Michigan, he was named to the first team. NAIA All-Midwest Second Team, NAIA All-Area Team, NAIA All-American. Unfortunately, his senior year was hampered by an injury, and he was not able to play the entire season, but was named to the NCCAA District 3 team. Paul went on after graduating from Spring Arbor with a major in economics. He went on to play professional soccer for Kalamazoo, and then Fort Wayne and Louisville, where when he played in Louisville, they won the league championship. Playing for a few years professional soccer, he realized that that was not where he wanted to remain in his life, and he made a decision to place priority on family. So he left professional soccer, opened up a soccer retail business in Portage, Michigan, and then became assistant coach at Western Michigan University under Blake Glass, the head coach. After a few years, Paul realized that he wanted to make more of an impact on youth, and he made a career change, returned to Spring Arbor, his alma mater, and completed his teacher certification. Was then hired at Mason High School and served as their soccer coach, guiding the team to 7 consecutive winning seasons. Paul also served as director of coaching for the Brighton Soccer Club. Besides Paul's commitment to soccer, I want to highlight a couple other commitments. One, to his family, which I mentioned earlier, but also while raising their 2 children, Ian and Salik, Paul and his wife Gwen have maintained an open door to their home. They have provided a home to foster children, to teenage refugees, and helped these people to gain their education and their independence. Many times in talking to Paul or Gwen on the phone, we found out their family had increased from 4 to 7 or 8 or whatever. Their home was always open. It was always someone, the extended family, friends from other countries, friends here in the States, were always welcome to stay at the Cottos. The third commitment for years, and I can't tell you when this began, but Paul could, he's had a dream. He wanted to make a difference in the lives of the youth in his home country of Nigeria. So he has established the Cotto International Training Academy, and he is currently building the infrastructure. Soccer will be used as the attraction for youth to develop their skills while obtaining their education. It is Paul's dream that the development of soccer skills, along with academics, will provide an opportunity for these youth to obtain scholarships to higher education. As I thought about these 3 commitments, the thread that runs through these is his commitment, which is beneath this very quiet exterior, and very humble person that Paul is. But his commitment is the desire to help youth. He has and is accomplishing this through coaching, providing, and educating the youth of our global community. As expressed in the words of the song, Common Garments, we have been chosen to send forth His light. God uses willing vessels to do uncommon things. Paul, God has used your life and will continue to use you as a willing vessel to serve Him. Congratulations, Paul, on this honor.
Those of you that know me know that I'm really nervous. This is quite an honor. First, I'd like to thank my colleague at Mason High School, Kristen Higgins, who's here with me. My longtime good friend, Samir Rada, from Albania, who's here with me also. They came here to attest, the representative to attest that I'm actually being honored to the Spring Arbor Hall of Fame. Because the people that know me probably won't believe it. And Kristen is here also to hold my hand because she knows how much I really don't like doing this. My wife, Gwen, could not be here today. She's busy chasing our kids around the globe. My son Ian is working and living in Washington, D.C. and could not come due to his job. Yes, I know, shocking. There are people in Washington, D.C. that actually work. My wife went to Thailand to check on our daughter, Sleet, who is working for the Peace Corps. When I first received the phone call that I was being honored for the Spring Arbor University Hall of Fame, my first reaction was shock. After the shock wore off, then came horror. Because you know, as I look at the Hall of Fame, when I think about the Hall of Fame, I know my understanding is for people who have actually done something. And I don't know that I have done anything to talk about that I deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. So I thought to myself, this must be a mistake. But as the realization sunk in, I started to think back to my years at Spring Arbor, and the memories started flooding back. I can remember the time that some of my soccer teammates, not me of course, came close to suspension because we skipped chapel. I can remember the time when one of my teammates, again, really not me either, really represented Spring Arbor well by headbutting an opponent and getting thrown out of a game. I also remember a time when I was at Spring Arbor and I changed my major from being a PE major because I found out I had to learn how to swim. I also remember the numerous times all I wanted to do was go play soccer in the gym, because in the evening we'd play soccer in the gym and all the guys would be there. We were having a great time. But then I had those evening classes, and I would have to go to the evening class, and I was like, oh God, I had to actually read the material too, because inevitably, for those of you guys that have been here a long time, you remember Jack Cassian? He always had a way of finding you out. He'd go, Mr. Cottle, explain the law of supply and demand. Just like that. I remember him very well. So you had to be, when all I wanted to do was come to class and take a nap. But as I was thinking back, there were also times when it wasn't so great. Some of these memories, I can remember the time my brother and I were called to the accounting office and told they were most likely going to have to ship us out because we did not pay our school fees. I can remember the time we tried to rent an off-campus house and were offered rent, but the offer was rescinded when they saw us and met us with a comment, "You don't look like you sound on the phone." I can remember the time my wife Gwen and I were told it was a bad idea to date due to our racial difference, followed by some obscure citation of the scriptures. Which I can laugh about now because I know that's nonsense. I've been married to this wonderful lady for 33 wonderful years. These are all experiences that help to shape our view of the world. Today, I only wish the people who truly deserve the award were standing right here beside me. Please allow me a moment to name a few of them. Steve Bowler, who's doing an amazing job in Malawi, working with the Fountain of Life Ministries, working with battered women. My friend John Whiteman, who's working in inner city Detroit. He wanted to be here tonight, but he couldn't make it because of the commitments that he had. Those of you that are in Spring Arbor, you know Don Mercer, who's the principal at Roslyn Academy in Kenya. Leonard Mpoki, who's back in his native Kenya working with children in education. Dean Ferguson, professor at Texas A&M. And there's several others, I can keep going. Joe Bartlett, Ken Coffey, Jack Brown Peterside, Terry Fretz, Bruce Juback, Bill Bunch, John Gale, and even Tony Visconti. When I look back to those good old days, what Spring Arbor has meant to me, and I would dare say to us, it comes to one thing, people. A year and a half ago, my brother, John, passed away. We were inseparable, and oftentimes people had trouble telling us apart. In one of our last discussions, as we were reminiscing about the time we came to the States. You see, back then, my father had just died a couple of years before. My mother was trying to make sure that we had a good life. They thought this was the best avenue for us. We came to the United States with no family. We found ourselves alone. I still remember that feeling to this day. But pretty soon we found out we didn't have family. We found family in 3 places. First was the soccer club. Crossed over that line and it was just something totally different. We found family by being part of the team. Once you were at practice, running through drills, which in some cases being sent to the showers early because you tackled a little too hard. You soccer players know what I mean. That was our family. The road trips. The second was the person that introduced me. second family was the Memphites. Darlene and her husband Larry. Not only did Darlene manage to keep John eligible, a minor miracle in itself, but took us in as family through the good, we've been through the good and the bad times together. We hurt when they hurt, and we celebrated when they celebrated. We heard the loss of Sheila and celebrated together when Gwenda, I wish she was here today, was our flower girl at our wedding. They've always been there, and we knew we could count on them regardless of where we found ourselves. That has not changed to this day. Larry, Darlene, Gwenda, we love you. Thank you very much. I saved this one for the last. I did not want to play glass during my introduction because I couldn't have gotten through the speech. Blake, you and Sarah, I have no words to describe what you've meant to us. Blake, you selflessly shared your mother with us when she was here. She was our mother also. She saw us through thick and thin, good games and bad games, great wins and terrible losses. She was always supportive, encouraging, and most of all, tolerated our sneaky uniforms. You took a bunch of kids who knew nothing and molded us into amazing, selfless, passionate, driven, and most of all, disciplined machines. Who were all focused on the common goal to represent Spring Arbor well. You protected us. You chided us. You pushed us. And even though I dropped a hammer on Sarah's head, you still played me for the next game. You have been a mentor, a role model, and a huge part of who I am today. As I work on establishing a school in Nigeria, I remember things you taught us. Hard work. Even though I hated conditioning days, I still remember your saying, conditioning isn't everything, but everything else is nothing without it. You taught us the belief to see the game through. When things get tough, you taught us to believe in ourselves. As I try to do what a lot of people consider to be an impossible task of establishing a school in Nigeria, I know what that means. You taught us to make sacrifices. You taught us to make sacrifice runs in order for the team to succeed. I don't have to score. I just have to pull the guy away and let my teammates score. We're going to end up winning the game. As I go to Nigeria every summer, on that flight, I am reminded of the need to sacrifice. I am leaving my nice, comfortable home to go into that heat. Bumpy. As our president said, not a very nice place, and I can't repeat those words. And finally, you taught us some great free kicks. Ooh, those were glorious. Okay. I even stole all 3 free kicks into my high school, and I won championships with them. And I look like a genius. They don't know it was you. All these things come to mind as I tackle the day-to-day challenges of being a teacher, parent, coach, and a role model. Thank you for being there. You guys are my family. And Blake, you left a piece of you in all of us. And we have indeed been honored and blessed to call you Coach. Thank you.
On behalf of Spring Arbor University and the Board of Trustees, I am pleased to induct Paul Cotto into the SAU Athletic Hall of Fame. At this time, I would like to ask Dr. Ted Carmen to please come up and introduce the coach business.
So how are we doing, Lori? 2 to 4 minutes. That's for the presenters. I'm not going to take time away from the honorees. First of all, I'd like to congratulate Kelly and started this afternoon at the ball game, tremendous family there today. Remember the family time, Coach Vickers and I went together, all out, taking the family to Denny's to recruit us. But Kelly, your achievements in your sport as an alumna, exceptional, so congratulations. And congratulations, Paul. Back in the 80s, as a coach myself, I appreciate your relationship with Blake, your experiences on the field, your achievements, and as a wonderful representative of SAU as an alum. So congratulations. So here we go. I could read this in 4 minutes, but I may interject a few things, so it may not work out that way. Because it is an honor to represent, or to introduce, I should say, William D. Bibas for induction today. But since I've known Billy since he was a toddler and an energetic faculty kid, it's hard to say William or Bill even sometimes, but it's an honor to present him to you for induction. During my coaching years, I observed that he was beyond the energetic toddler and faculty kid. He was an outstanding athlete at Concord High School in the track and field. And then I got to be his coach when he came to Spring Arbor. Didn't have to recruit too hard to get him. And so I checked his performances on our teams in those years and noted that 2 of his indoor middle distance times still stand on the all-time top 10 list, Bill, after what, 20, 30 years? But here's the part. He began his coaching as perhaps the youngest head track coach in college across the state. Soon after graduation, Bill became the SAU head coach for women's track and field and women's cross country. And shortly thereafter, then he also assumed the duties as a head cross country coach for the men. And for 2 decades, or perhaps a little more, he served faithfully and very successfully as the track coach at SAU. a demanding role, both men and women, under his responsibility. During those years, he was respected and loved by his athletes, as you've already heard from one of them, and many others would say the same thing, I'm sure. He was held in high regard by his peers, coaches in the National Christian College Athletic Association, the NAIA, the WAC, the Wolverine Hoosier Athletic Conference, and the Mid-Central, and now the Crossroads League. His peers gave him due respect and appreciation. You see at the printed program a lot of numbers about his athletes, both male and female, and the honors that they achieved, the performances that they made and had, the way they represented Spring Arbor University. But you see, when you read that, what do you think about how they got there? It tells a lot about the coach when you see the performances of the athletes and their steadiness and their commitment to the sport. So a couple of statistics may have been mentioned. I don't know whether they're in print or not, but Bill was named the Wolverine Hoosier Athletic Association Athletic Conference, I guess we called it. Coach of the Year 4 times, and I think that it probably was possible that it could have been a higher number, but I think he had some volunteer committed assistant coaches, and I think he deferred to them for some of those honors, and that's characteristic of Bill. In addition to the WAC, which we're no longer a part of, he was Coach of the Year 2 times in the Crossroads League, and 2 times he was National Coach of the Year for the NCCAA. Along with all those honors, and very likely, I suppose, as a foundation for those honors, he displayed to his athletes and to his peers a strong and unshakable Christian faith and an irrepressible sense of humor. Cooler weather, and how do you make this attractive, and all of that. And now you're middle school, sort of school students, right? And I should add, as an interested onlooker, having been there, I should add that in an amazing feat of multitasking, Bill fulfilled his duties as men's and women's cross-country coach, men's and women's indoor track coach, and men's and women's outdoor track coach, while he was a full-time science teacher in the Northwest School District. So think about this. All day in a classroom full of middle school students. Then you rush to campus for your coaching duties. And some would say, you know, it's entirely different strategies you would use for females compared to males. I'm not sure if that's true or not, but I've heard that. Right? So essentially, it would be like 6 preps during those years. Arrive on campus, and Julie would see him sometime later. Who knows when? Right, Julie? His commitment to the sport, the track and field, cross-country sports, is very genuine. I remember his hard work and discipline as an athlete, and I see it carried through. I see the respect that his peers accord to him, and also his commitment to his athletes, the way he loved them, the way he motivated them, the way he had fun with them, and simply increased their level of commitment to the sport was amazing. So it is indeed an honor to present to you for induction today my former athlete, my colleague in coaching, my friend, successful coach, and man of God, and my hero.
amazed by the fact that I can stand in front of you and I have my middle school track coach here, and my college cross-country coach here. What a great honor to have them both here tonight. Thank you again to Coach, and I'm going to talk about him in a few moments, but thank you to Jan Asbury. See, I told you I could cry. This is just getting started. Congratulations, Paul. What an amazing speech. Thank you. Kelly, you know I love you. And thank you for the words that you said. Brian, thank you to you and the Hall of Fame Committee for allowing this to happen. I'd be remiss tonight if I didn't thank Lori Cornell. Oh my goodness, we became good friends on the internet. And she emailed me tons of stuff. Hey, take it serious, people. Let's go. It's not middle school here. So and she emailed me all these things I needed to do, and on a daily basis, I was emailing her back. Thank you to Chris Ballman for putting that stuff together for us. Phenomenal. If you watched through that, it seemed like I wore that hat quite a bit. Actually, didn't think about wearing it tonight. I still have it. There's a way cool shirt I had in there too. In the 80s. I actually owe that to one of the girls on the team. I haven't sent it to her yet because I like it so much. Buddy. Coach, thank you for your kind words, for your years of mentoring. In Hebrews 13:7, God expresses how He expects us to respond to our mentors. He says, remember your leaders who spoke the word of God to you. Consider the outcome of their way of life and imitate their faith. Thank you, Coach, for your leadership, for your godly leadership, for your friendship. Thank you to my beautiful wife, Julie, for her unwavering support and her love all these years. Our 25th anniversary is coming up this spring. Being a coach's wife is not easy. The long hours away, whether we're at meets or practice, and I'm grateful for her support, for helping me fulfill a dream of coaching. Thank you to my Christ-centered parents for their encouragement and steadfast love. To my mother, for teaching me how to find the God-given talent in all people. To my father, teaching me the proper time to push and challenge student athletes. In the correct moments, you just sit back and listen. Thank you to my sister, who traveled all the way from Utah. She showed me how to persevere and strive for excellence. My sister truly represents the best of our family. The unconditional love of family, their steadfast support, is the key components that help me go to practice every day. And I knew that they were always there to listen when I needed to talk. Special thank you to Kate Dunkel and Daryl Dunkel for coming all the way from Florida. We're getting snow tomorrow, and they showed up. Thank you to Kay and Hank for hiring me, providing me the opportunity to coach at such a fine institution. Mrs. Dunkel, for your Christian guidance, knowing that you were praying for my wife and I, gave us a calm peace. Thank you. Tonight's honor is very special to my family and me. And as I approach this day, I was able to reflect on the amazing journey that God has allowed me to do as a coach. As I reflected, I continued to come back to one absolute conclusion. That it was about the people and their individual stories that made this trip so special. I realized that tonight is not about me. It was actually about them. Tonight is 100% about the athletes and the coaches that God placed into my life. For without these incredible people, I wouldn't be standing here tonight. First, the coaches. I'm truly thankful for all of you, for your tireless commitment to helping each of the athletes, for your loyalty to me, for working with me in spite of my quirkiness. When I talk about loyalty, I'm going to tell you a story. We were at a National Christian College meet, November. Rain, snow falling. 2 coaches showed up the night before the meet, and as usual, we would go out to dinner. Have the team have a really good dinner, then we go out and get some good food. Burgers, fries, pies, cakes. We took the team into bed and then we headed out. Fortunately, it was a late night dinner, so we weren't able to do our usual, so we went to Wendy's. And we were carrying so many things in, I thought it would be easier to simply put my keys in the Wendy's bag. It was fine because they stayed in the bag. The problem was after we got done eating, we threw everything away and went to bed. The next morning arrives and the girls were eager to get to the meet. And Steve Allison had met Carpenter with me, and I'm like, let me go get the keys. We'll head out of here. They were not where I thought they would be. So Matt was gracious enough to take the ladies to the meet. We actually drew straws. Steve got stuck to stay back with me to try to find the keys. We had 2 vans, so we piled them all in one. Steve and I stayed back to try to find the keys. We went to the desk and said, hey, by the way, where'd you put the garbage from last night? He said, it's a big dumpster out back. I'm like, no, seriously, the garbage from last night, it's not been that long. Yeah, it's a big dumpster out back. So Steve and I headed out to the big dumpster out back. It was huge. I climbed into it, and it just starts raining and snowing. This guy walks out and says, no, not that dumpster, that one over there. So I looked over there, and there's this like green ooze and fog over the dumpster. For a moment I thought to myself, how can I fake an injury here? So Steve would go into the dumpster and leave me out of it. But this is where loyalty comes in. Before I could get out of the first dumpster, Steve was already in the second dumpster. Yes. He jumped in. We actually found a Wendy's bag. Had everything that we ate. It wasn't ours. We're getting nervous here. We're soaking wet. We don't smell very good anymore. And we realized we still got to get to the meat. At that moment in time, one of the custodials came walking out with garbage bags from last night. The keys were in there. But that just shows you their loyalty. They'd be willing to jump in the garbage with me to help the team. Most importantly, I'd like to thank these coaches for the love of God that they showed each athlete on the team. I can never thank them enough. I would like them to stand and to be recognized tonight. Obviously, Coach Ted Carmen, Coach Gary Sykes, Coach Dave Jordan. Come on, guys, stand. Don't be shy. Hello, let's do this. Coach Craig Hayward, I don't know he's here with us tonight. Coach Casey Turner, Coach Mark Cole, Coach Kim Adams, Coach Dante Adelini, Coach Mark Miller, Coach Brian Cono. And for those who are still coaching with me today, they started here, they followed me to Northwest. Brad Buter's not able to be here. Coach Jason Kuhn. And yes, the guy that got in the garbage with me, Coach Steve Allison. Please give these guys. They spent tireless hours listening to me. In fact, I think at one point Dante and I were in the back of the field house. We had started talking at, I think it was 10 o'clock at night. I got a phone call. Back then we finally texted to know that the phones arrived. So the phones arrived, we had the phone, my wife's calling saying, I thought you'd be home by 11, and it was like 4 in the morning. But that's what these guys did, because they were committed to Spring Arbor, they were loyal to me, and they wanted to help this program grow. I need to thank Jim Weidman. Former head of the admissions department here at Spring Arbor. Jim spent countless hours talking with me about these student athletes. He worked tirelessly to create positive ways to assist them academically, financially, to come to Spring Arbor. See, Jim believed what this program could become. Thank you, Jim. Matt Carpenter. Matt was there that day when we climbed into the garbage. He took the team. And countless hours that Matt drove the team to the meets. Back when I was coaching, we didn't have the finances to do a charter bus. So we had buses that were not always the best. Seriously, not always the best. But Matt was willing to drive with me to make sure our athletes got there safe. He still helps me in Northwest. And by the way, buddy, we have 7 home meets this year. So I thought tonight would be a good time to share that with you. These coaches are the people that helped me through this. They're wonderful Christian people, and they've also become great friends. And I would like to thank them for all they did. Most importantly tonight, I would like to thank the athletes, many of who are in attendance tonight. It's great just to look out there and see them. Thank you for the time that you spent here at Spring Arbor. As a coach, I can truly say that I was blessed by God to have wonderful student Christian athletes to work with. They believed in God, they believed in the gifts that God gave them, and they worked hard to make wonderful things happen. I have thousands of stories. And I literally could go to each table and tell you amazing things. But my mom said she needed to get out of here tonight before 10, so we're going to stop. But as I think on these stories, it brings happiness and joy to my heart. I will share these things with you tonight. I will always remember the dedication and hard work that every athlete put in. I will remember the pure joy of watching you train and compete and grow as God's children. I remember all the tears we shared. You are more than just athletes. You are a part of my family. Thank you for allowing my wife and I the opportunity to be a part of your lives. You all had a profound impact on us. Please know I love you all. Coaches and athletes tonight, this award is not about me. It's about you, and I'm grateful for all of you. Thank you. Before you say this, hey, really quickly, if you notice, I never took really good pictures. Back then we didn't have these cell phones when I first started. You had to carry around a big, huge camera. And I wasn't good at it. So before we leave tonight, athletes, coaches, we will get a good picture together.
On behalf of Spring Arbor University and the Board of Trustees, I'm pleased to induct William Bippus into the SAU Athletic Hall of Fame. We've got just a 90-second video. Chris, are we ready?
Yeah.
Okay, great. We had to make some cuts in the program, and so instead of having our president live and in person, he's long-winded, we condensed this down to 90 seconds. Don't let them leave this room. Go ahead, Chris, hit it. As they're working on that, I know it was working earlier, right, Chris? We had it going.
Like Paul, Kelly, Paul, Bill, I want to congratulate you on tonight's honor. Actually, tonight we honor your achievements, and so it's not just an honor for this evening, but it's an honor for the rest of your lives. Being inducted into the Spring Arbor University Hall of Fame is significant, and it's a reflection of the phenomenal ways in which you used your God-given gifts, talents, and abilities on the athletic field. So Kelly, to see and to hear about the tremendous achievements you had in both track and cross country were inspiring to me as an old cross country and track athlete myself. Well done, congratulations. And Paul, your exploits on the soccer pitch are amazing, and for you to have that recognized in 1981 as a first-team NAIA All-American is a tremendous achievement, so congratulations on that. And Bill, for a legacy of national prominence in cross-country, women's cross-country, congratulations on this recognition. So on behalf of Spring Arbor University, I apologize for not being able to be with you tonight. I wish I were, but on behalf of Spring Arbor University, congratulations.
Dr. Ellis is a huge advocate of athletics, and we are blessed to have him leading the ship, and our Executive Vice President, Doug Wilcox. We just got some extraordinary people here. Dr. Terry Darling is going to come up and make some final remarks, and then Jake Sterling, a member of our men's soccer team, is going to give the benediction. And I would just echo, we would like our current inductees, tonight's inductees, along with our past Hall of Fame members, when we finish, to come on up so we can get some pictures, please. I would appreciate that. And then one final thing I wanted to mention. Coach Bibbis talks about, like, we have all this money now and they didn't then, and that's not true. We drive this Cougar bus that breaks down often. We're missing a window in it, and we do these people movers. You guys know what I'm talking about. It's kind of the Spring Arbor way. And this Hall of Fame ceremony that's been going on since it was, started, it's our 22nd year. Kate Dunkel and her husband quietly make a very generous gift every year to that budget line that's remained the same to allow us to continue to do this. And so, Kay and Daryl, you guys are amazing. Thank you. Here, you come on up, and then Jake would follow.
I grew up in Spring Arbor, and I know some of you are thinking, oh no, is this guy going to really go down memory lane here and take a long walk down that? But it's going to be a brisk, very quick walk. I was a faculty brat, and so I remember these great athletes back in the day, like Bobby Tompkins and Jerry Nye and Don Roth and Neil Braley. And when I was a kid, they were bigger than life. They were these just people that just kind of two-dimensional, awesome people that I just kind of had hero worship for. I didn't really know them. It wasn't until I became a student here that I got to know some of these great athletes like Mark Olson, and Tony Luttrell, and Greg Dershai. And they had magnificent athletic accomplishments as well. And all these people that I named, by the way, are in our Hall of Fame. But these guys, not only were they great athletes, their primary purpose was to glorify God. And so I realized, what makes our Hall of Fame special is the fact that we're not just here to honor you as athletes. And you have wonderful athletic accomplishments, and we are celebrating those. But even more than that, we're celebrating your lives. The fact that you have gone into the various areas that you're in, shining the light of God in whatever places you find yourselves. And so I hope that all of you respond the way I did tonight, which is, I hope we all feel like we can leave here and we can shine our light a little bit brighter for God's kingdom. So thank you all for coming. Jake, we'll have to.
All right, we'll bow your head. Heavenly Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for the opportunity to just honor these three great athletes and the coach, Coach Bibbis, Kelly, and Paul. Thank you for the evidence that your hand is laid upon them throughout their lives. Thank you that we can see through them why they're being inducted for their just deflecting all the praise and giving it to you, and that's incredible. We pray that everyone here sees what they've done, but sees also who they are and what they're doing, why they're doing it. We pray that we see that and are impacted by that and try to imitate that. Lord, thank you for the gathering of all these people to honor them, ultimately honoring you through that. We pray that everyone gets home safely tonight. And again, just thank you for Paul, Kelly, and Coach Bibbis. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, you're dismissed. Always wanted to do